Open the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. We'll start with a pledge.
United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Mathis.
Here.
Trustee Gifford.
Here.
Trustee Tiberio.
Here.
Trustee Rizzo.
Here.
Mayor Condon.
Here. I'm going to stray a little bit from our agenda tonight. So, as most of you know, I like my employees, and I had asked my clerks to put together just a list of our employees and when they started working for us. And 2019 is going to be a big year. In 2019, Ken Almy will have served his 30th year with the Village of Scotia. Tim Canali, firefighter and captain, 25 years. Dan Wadmer, captain and fire, 20 years. Kathy Busher, 25 years. Jim Archibald in the parks, 20 years. Andy Beneski, 30 years. Dave Weston, DPW, 20 years. That's all in 2019. There's only one person in 2018 of any note. Jim Marks has served the Village of Scotia for 30 years as of August of 2018. Jim, would you mind coming up here for a minute?
No, he doesn't, but he will.
So, Jim, NICOM sends I don't know what you call this thing, a plaque or whatever to honor people. I think you got one in 25 years.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
They're pretty cut and dried, and they're not really anything special. So I took a look at it, and generally a proclamation we do when somebody retires, so you're not quite at that point yet. But 30 years is a big deal. So I got the proclamation from the Conference of Mayors, and it's been signed by all of the trustees and all of the department heads to say thank you for your service to the village. And I just want to go on record as saying that you know, I appreciate all my department heads, but I don't think there's anybody that's harder working than you, more dedicated to the village than you, and the amount of knowledge you have for our parks, our lake, and the stuff that you do when you finally do decide that you're going to retire is something I don't think anybody's ever going to be able to do. So congratulations and thank you. I appreciate Item number 3 is privilege of the floor. Do we have anybody signed up? Is there anyone who cares to be heard of privilege of the floor? Jim, if you want to come right up, and I guess you don't have the microphone tonight, so. Okay. You speak into the microphone and it'll go on the recording.
Okay. Jim Hale, live at 1008 Pleasant View Avenue. I'm here for the second month in a row. To just mention to the board, I see no action being done at Glenn's Automotive. It was 3 months ago I provided 10 or 12 pictures, and it was last month I provided some more. If the village took action, it's a great secret to everybody. I have somebody who knows Glenn personally, and he says he hasn't been cited for anything. That being said, I'd like to know why things don't get done around here. Excuse me. I want to know why things get done to certain people in this village, but not other people in the village. That being said, I sent the mayor and Tom Gifford a text this morning. For the 6th time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th time in the last 3 weeks. I've found the Village of Scotia building inspector's car in the city of Amsterdam for the 6th time. John and Carol Carpenter were having lunch about 3 weeks ago, and they called me up, not knowing I had an issue with the building inspector, to tell me he was at the recovery room eating lunch at 1:15. Carol called the mayor. He didn't answer, but she was going to tell him. I have an issue with the building inspector. He harasses the people who work in this town, but he doesn't harass the people who are deteriorating our village. Some of you trustee members don't know. I was arrested by the Village of Scotia, by the administration that Mayor Casper was part of in 2006. What was I arrested for? Let me back up. I used to wash down, probably on 5 occasions, the parking lot of Jumpin' Jacks after the spring flooding with the Village of Scotia water. I filled a few swimming pools at the request of trustees in like 20 years at the fire department. What did Jim Hale do? Off duty while working for the fire department, I filled my swimming pool with a fire hydrant on my property. I was arrested by the Village of Scotia. I went to trial with the Village of Scotia taking action. I paid my fine. Why is it only certain people in this village have action taken against them, yet our building inspector goes to Amsterdam? Probably 3 times in the last 3 years I've called the mayor on his cell phone and said, Mayor, I'm in Amsterdam. I'd like to know why this building inspector does not do his job and takes a Village of Scotia car to Amsterdam. Now if he hits a pedestrian on Main Street in Amsterdam, I'm sure the litigation would be, there's no fault to the Village of Scotia. That's fine. I don't want to be around when that happens. Cars have GPS on. That's an old police car. Did they take the GPS out? I don't know, but it's a good question to ask. So until something's done with this building inspector and the deterioration of this village, I'm going to be here every month asking why. And I have no problem telling you, I will tell Lewis right to his face, Lewis, you're not a man, because you harass the builders, but you don't harass the people who have abandoned cars. Thank you.
I'll just reply one thing to you, Jim. If you want to stop in and see me, I'll tell you what actions we're taking with Glenn's Garage.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else care to be heard at privilege of floor? Seeing none, I'll close that. We'll move on to item number 4, which is a resolution authorizing the execution and delivery of National Grid street lighting purchase and street lighting infrastructure upgrade and a tax-free equipment lease purchase agreement and related documents and measurement and verification services agreement. Whatever that means.
I'll second that motion.
I just want to open some discussion. So there had been a question about what fixtures can be put on these lights. Andrew and I received a reply from SmartWatt on a fixture that could provide Wi-Fi in neighborhoods and other things too. But and the cost to add that to the project was about $50,000. So it's there. I opened it today. I got it like 2 days ago, but I opened it today. I talked to Andrew a little bit about it, and it may be something that we want to look at, but I certainly would not advocate adding it tonight because we really don't have a plan for the use of that or anything. So as Andrew and I talked about it, you know, maybe it's something that we would want to add. Maybe it's something that we would want to add in some parts of the village, but not all of the village. But there's a heck of a lot of time to think that through at this point. So tonight I would just advocate doing what we have planned to do. If in the future we want to modify it for that 50 grand, we can do that.
But is that the Wi-Fi or whatever stuff to add? Is that stuff that's just as easily added later as now?
Sure. Yeah, it would go on top of the fixture like we talked about.
Yeah.
And
You just have to climb the pole and put the thing on it.
Actually, it replaces the photo cell. So
yeah,
take the photo cell off.
exactly. It would replace a photo cell and still provide you that capability, but other capabilities as well.
So Wi-Fi, like you can do a Wi-Fi like service throughout the village, or is it just like a Wi-Fi where those report back to?
Yeah, this option doesn't have that capability. So what it does is it provides you the ability to get the reporting on the street lighting wherever it's located, the GPS coordinates, provides you the ability to turn it on and off if you chose to do so. You can dim the fixtures as well. What additional? Is there anything additionally that you could do with this?
No, it's basically for reporting and dimming and whatnot.
It doesn't make it Wi-Fi capable?
No, not as it stands.
I went to the website and I misread.
Yeah, there's other options to do that.
The one thing to mention is the National Grid tariff right now isn't very friendly to the more advanced options. Basically, if you're going to put something on there to dim it,
you're not gonna get credit for dimming the fixture
Sure.
because everything's stipulated. Now,
Yeah.
6 months, a year from now, that could change, and that could very well open up the floor for more options, so.
It wasn't so much worried about like the dimming and all that, it was more the capability to create some sort of like Wi-Fi network. We already had like a network camera started in the park, but if it was easy enough to clip something on and keep bringing them up the village.
Sure.
Up the main drag. it would be-
I think it should be looked at as something that could be added easily to later. It would set us up maybe in a little bit better spot.
Yeah.
But-
It future-proofs for the village, where you could go that route if the tariff changes. This would ultimately, the $50,000 would ultimately give you a lot more accessibility, control even by phone, to, have access to turn them on or off. It does alert you if they go out, it alerts you if a pole gets knocked down. So, it provides some value, certainly if you're gonna be maintaining the lights. There was allocation put into the project each year. It can certainly help, you not have to have a service contract to do those types of things. So, like the mayor said, it's not something that necessarily has to be decided tonight in terms of that amount, whether you guys want to do it. There'll be probably 4 to 5 months beyond tonight where we can have this in the project or out. And we can bring in the manufacturer, they can show you the product. It's just, you had asked for it, so we wanted to provide you that information.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it roughly would add about a year, unless we decided to pay
With the term.
Okay.
the 50, but it would, so instead of
Yep.
9 years, 10 months, it's 10 years, 10 months.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Yes, please call the roll.
Trustee Mathis?
Yes.
Trustee Gifford?
Okay.
Trustee Gabriel?
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo?
Yes.
Trustee Mathis?
Yes.
Mayor Metzger?
I'm not done yet.
Out of here.
All right, so thank you guys very much. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you want, but we're done.
Any sensible person would leave.
Appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Thank you. Yeah.
Item number 5 is authorize me to sign the Schenectady County Youth Bureau contract for College Park Recreation Program, which is a summer rec program, for $4,500.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 6 is authorize me to sign the January 1st renewal of our Blue Shield plan this is for our retirees.
I'll make a motion.
Full second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7 is authorize me to sign the renewal of the CPHP Medicare Advantage plan again for our retirees.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 8 is authorize me to sign the District 4 contract with the town of Glenville. I had a 2% increment. What I did was I took the existing contract, changed the dates, changed the dollar amount, had Maria make sure my math was correct on the dollar amount, Lydia make sure that the contract was correct verbally. I think the town did this on their meeting on the 3rd, so.
Make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 9 is a public announcement of the date and time for the Halloween celebration. So Halloween is going to be on Wednesday, October 31st. Trick-or-treating is from 4 to 8 on that day. And we will post the cider and donut route on our website and paper down in the clerk's office. I think that's it, right?
Also, we delivered it to every house in the village.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say I'll be in Cabo San Lucas on that day.
Well, now, if it's done, we know who did it.
I tell you, I'm sure you'll be eating a sugar donut.
I'll tell you what, in however long I've been in this village since 1982 as a teacher, and out of all those years, living both on 6th Street and Halcyon Street, I never had anything done to my house on Halloween, so I'm pretty lucky for that. Knock on wood.
Well,
So if Joe Rizzo comes and eggs my house. Item number 10, my comments. I mentioned this to you, but I'd like to mention just for the public, this Sunday, October 14th at 1:30, we'll have Dr. Carl George telling tales of Collins Lake. And he'll be doing that at the First Reformed Church. It was originally scheduled for the Lion Pavilion, but we were worried about the weather a little bit. So there'll be a First Reformed Church telling all kinds of, this says myths, legends, and true stories, birds, fish, and water chestnuts, geology, glaciers and dredging, farms, ice, archaeology. There will be tales you've forgotten and things you never knew. So I'm looking forward to that.
Those are all.
He does.
So, Ken, we gotta be sure we're back.
And then on October 20th, at the same time, 1:30, and same location, First Reformed Church of Scotia, there'll be culinary historian Peter G. Rose using recipe books and scrapbooks of Dutch New York as examples in discussing family documents and what they can tell us about our community, followed by a sampling of Dutch cookies and desserts. So I want to thank Beverly Clark, a historian, for putting both those together. I checked on the Trustee Mathis's request. I checked on the $60,000 SAM grant for the water quality improvements in our park. And I basically got back an answer saying that yes, everything is in there, it's in the system. So we just have to wait for the system to run its course until we get our money. If you're astute, you might notice that we had talked about the bonding project, but it's not on the agenda for this evening. There were more details that needed to be put together before we got something in place, and neither Maria nor I wanted to put something incomplete out there, so we'll do it when we all agree on it, but I just want to make sure it's right. And believe it or not, those are my comments. Item number 11 is correspondence, liaison, and special committee reports. Trustee Mathis.
The visionary committee meeting was canceled and because of the resignation of two of the town committee members. So we're going to revisit that potentially in the new year after the elections. I actually got a chance to go to the Glenville board meeting too as well, and got to listen to the budget presentation by the supervisor, which we were included into as well, as representations being part of the town. So it was very informative, and that's all I have to report.
Thanks. Trustee Gifford.
We had a planning board meeting, talked about the cell tower they're proposing on Washington Avenue. The new look of cell towers, this is it's going to go on a utility pole and just be something like 7 feet higher than the utility pole and not obvious to anybody. It's a little awkward because our cell tower rules say you have to do this, that, and the other thing because they're big and ugly, and they're not anymore. So we probably ought to go revisit that and see if we. I mean, they have to come back next month and have a public hearing and or something that nobody's going to notice at all. So we ought to talk about that at some point. We had a fire department meeting last Wednesday. Nothing much to report. We do have, if anybody's interested, live fire training on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock or something like that in Saratoga, where we're crawling into their burn place, putting out fires. Anybody's interested?
Thank you. Trustee Tiberius.
Busy month. We had a bid meeting this week. They have some snazzy new decorations that are going to start going up for the Holiday on the Avenue. They also had a presentation by the Holiday on the Avenue chairperson, so they're all looking very excited for that. And we had a building facility meeting, and happy to report that we are really close to having a final recommendation to present to you guys here in the Board of Trustees.
Thank you. Trustee Rizzo.
Our special events committee is putting together Holiday on the Avenue. We're putting parade together again. People seem to like that, so we're gonna try to put that together again. And we're working on getting the pamphlets and stuff made up and delivered to all businesses.
Great, thank you. Item number 12, departmental reports. Any questions or comments on the departmental reports? Anybody care to move to accept them?
Make a motion?
I'll second.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 13 is the audit of claims.
And we can make a motion to pay the bills?
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Trustee Perez?
Yes.
Trustee Gifford?
Yes.
Trustee Ligurian?
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo?
Yes.
Mayor Kinsler?
Yes. Item 14 is the approval of the minutes from the August 13th special meeting of the Village Board of Trustees. And just as reminders, that one was not attended by Trustee Mathis and Trustee Rizzo.
I'll move we approve it.
Second.
And any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions?
Same.
Okay. Item 15 is the approval of the minutes from the August 20th special meeting of the trustees where everybody was present.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 16 is the minutes from the September 4th special meeting of the trustees where all were present.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any approved? Any opposed? Item 17 is the approval of the minutes from September 12th, which was not attended by Trustee Gifford.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
I would, I was not there, but I did second one of the, issues on there. And I was impressed because I looked at this thing and it's 6 pages long and wow, did I miss a good one? And you guys left at 7:32, so I didn't feel so bad.
No fooling around here. Okay, so with that revision, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes.
Item 18, new business. Does anybody have any new business?
I just wanted to tell you that we had, yesterday there appeared political signs on the Triangle Island. It's part of the park, and we try to keep signs off it. And so the Democratic signs disappeared last night, and the Republican signs disappeared this morning.
Okay. So yeah, none of them were local anyway, right? They were more county and state.
So they were state, yeah. And then both the candidates got emails saying, we did that, and this is why.
Okay. Any other new business? The only thing I have is I have a request from the representative from CSEA to sit down and, I don't know if it's a negotiation or what, but roll the DPW contract into a CSEA contract. And I don't know, she said it's because she would like to do it while I'm still mayor and this board, everybody agrees. But it would not be opening the contract, so it would not start a new negotiation. It would just be recognizing it as a CSEA contract rather than an association contract. So before I said yes, no, or maybe, I just wanted to hear from you guys if you have any concerns or questions about that.
Because we recognize them being part of the union, but it's because of the timing of the contract.
So in the contract, it names who is the representative of the employees. So
Okay.
right now, it's the DPW Association.
Well, then I think we should properly change
Does it
it.
make any difference to us? Or what's your feeling?
It doesn't make any difference to us.
Well, I think-
My feeling is that that's true. And I sent her an email and I said, Angelique, after talking to the president of the DPW Association, he tells me that all you want is to change that part, that we recognize CSEA as the representatives of our
I think
employees.
it makes sense.
I said, if that's true, I don't have an issue, and I'll bring it to my board at our meeting. She hasn't responded. If she says I want to open the contract, then no, it doesn't expire till the 31st, and it doesn't make any sense for me to start working on a contract with somebody when I won't be around with somebody.
I would agree with that logic.
So if it's just that part, you're all okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, so, okay. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So be it.
So you're here with us, I mean,